can believe it, the Vanguard is live once again. How are you doing, Gavin?
I'm doing great. Glad to be back. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the show. Zach and I, took a couple days off, chilling a little bit, mourning the death of David Lynch, among other things. But yeah, it's been a rough couple of days. We're back though. We're ready to hit the road.
Yeah, hit the ground running. Appreciate everybody tuning in. As Gavin said, we had to recollect ourselves. You know what? This was the first real director passing. I feel like first artist passing in my entire life, really, that hit me on such a raw emotional level. Something that blindsided me completely, actually. I remember I got the news. I was recording a little Circle Jerk America bonus episode with our friend Griffin. He was like, oh, holy shit, David Lynch died. And I never take anything that Griffin says on Circle Jerks at face value. The first time I thought he was fucking with me. I was like, haha, like whatever, like what's the gag here? I was like, no, dude, David Lynch unfortunately passed away today. And I was like, fuck. And it wasn't until 9.5 hours later that I found myself thinking about the first time I watched Mulholland Drive, thinking about all of our, the history of Gavin and I's friendship and how it was connected through the works of David Lynch. And I just found myself fucking crying like a little baby in my kitchen, man, just sobbing fucking for real about how this was one of those real artists that once you engage with their work, you're never the same afterwards on a real level, not in a hype level, like, oh, it changed me. Like, for real, I never thought about art the same way after I watched Mulholland Drive,
Yeah, totally. And obviously, David Lynch isn't exactly a filmmaker for everyone. I think there's some people out there that might not, he might not be their cup of tea. But for those of us out there who he did really speak to, he was a one of a kind, truly, once in a lifetime kind of an artist, a true maestro of the cinema, someone that inspired me so much, not just artistically, but also just as far as my approach to and perspective on life, and living it. He was such a joyful person, someone that, like I said, really just inspired me in a lot of ways. So, yeah, that was real rough. And as you said, big influence on both of us as far as the beginning of our career in podcasting. The first podcast we ever recorded that we never released was about Mulholland Drive. So we really bonded over that, in addition to Twin Peaks. I'll never forget the summer where Twin Peaks: The Return aired on television every single week. I would, just get so excited, count down the days until Sunday, when The Return would be on Showtime. And that was, probably one of the best experiences of my entire life, following that mystery week by week. Got to kind of feel like what people felt back in the 90s when the original show was on the air. So, yeah, I mean, all the movies I've ever made have been completely inspired by David Lynch. Some would argue, bordering on ripoffs. It's crazy that he's gone.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to your point about Twin Peaks: The Return, I remember my English teacher, who was also the newspaper instructor where I went to high school, he called me into his room the morning where it was starting to be rumored that David Lynch was going to come back for the return season of Twin Peaks. And at that time, everybody just thought it was going to be season 3. Nobody really knew what to expect at that point.
Yeah.
And I remember just following it. I remember the change.org. I still get emails from change.org because I signed the petition when he was holding out to get more money from Showtime when I was like 18 years old. Anyway, a guy that inspired us a lot, really made us want to reevaluate creatively, made us want to reevaluate, I mean, at least for me personally, just where I'm at, how I'm engaging with life. It was one of those interesting moments where you get confronted with your own mortality through the lens of an artist that you love.
Luckily, Zach, I don't know if you heard, but the co-founder of the David Lynch Foundation announced the other day that he was actually found dead in his meditation position. So he actually died meditating.
Holy shit. That's something that's so Lynchian that it almost sounds like it shouldn't be real. It sounds like it should be scripted, but I mean, it kind of makes sense, right? What would he have done when he was in a moment of distress? He would have just gone for transcendental meditation.
And luckily he was around his family. He was safe. It's not like, he died as the fires were consuming his house or something crazy like that. I think he was totally safe, totally surrounded by people that he loved. But yeah, the man never missed a meditation, twice a day, every day since the 1970s. Never missed a single meditation. So yeah, we got to move on. I'm going to start tearing up here.
Yeah, sorry, Gavin. Let's talk about something that'll make you angry instead. We're going to get into